Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday class. And so when we wake up early morning, we always need to realize we are very lucky to be able to wake up, to be able to see things around us. Even though since last Sunday till today, many people, normal on the planets, many people pass away. Therefore, every morning when we woke up, we need to realize I'm very fortunate, still able to see, able to hear, able to think, able to do things. Then every morning we need to do, few preparations. The first preparation, how I can pass my day with a peace and happiness. That means you already make a plan how you can have a happy and peaceful day. The second preparation, you need to prepare if certain, the external or inner problem come in front of you without having any kind of worries, how to overcome the problems. Third, also we need to do, the right preparation. If any of the negative thoughts arise from morning till I'm sleeping, how I can control, how I can manage to reduce the mental or emotional problems. Every morning, if you're able to do the 4 preparations, then we can have a happy and smooth life. Not only, happy and smooth life, it can be, the conducive cause to born again the fortunate being. Not only that, also it can be cause to able to practice the Dharma continuously. So therefore, how we should do the preparation every morning. If we do preparation, this preparation for whole life, bit difficult. Do the preparation every morning until you are like a bedtime. Second, many of you have been studying Dharma for many years, which is very good. Somehow you are studying Dharma, but when the problem come in from you, then you totally usually forget how to apply the Dharma, how to apply the Dharma knowledge when the problem comes. If you're not able to apply the Dharma when the problem comes, any problems, inner problems, the outer problems, so we must apply the Dharma right there immediately. Otherwise, when we are very happy, there's no any problem around us, then look like we are practicing Dharma, we do Dharma practice. When the problem comes around us, particularly when the problem is so, looks so big, so then we totally give up practicing Dharma. Then we rely on different methods. So this is not good. The symbol, what I'm saying here, the knowledge, the Dharma knowledge you have, the understanding of Dharma you have, generally you need to apply every moment, particularly when the problem really become, like so big, so huge, or any problem come around you, immediately apply the Dharma knowledge and overcome the sufferings and problems. Second, so we have been studying the four mindfulness. The four mindfulness is a common practice between, Theravada and Mahayana practitioner. Even though the non-Buddhist practice, if you are able to do the meditation based on the four mindfulness, it can be very useful for you how to overcome the emotional sufferings. In the past, we study about mindfulness of the body, feeling, and mind. Within the mindfulness of the body, there's a 6 different steps. I hope all of you remember. So when you really study, precisely about meditation on the mindfulness of the body, it teaches us how to reduce the gross negative emotions. Mindfulness of the breath. When you fully able to meditate on the breath, your own breath, that means you are how to focus on one activity. Then, anger, attachment, desire, ego can arise very weakly because your average mind energy is focusing on your breath. That means you are still able to ignore the rest of the negative thoughts. When you are trying to, reverse the rest of the negative thoughts, not let arise within you. Second, when you do, meditation on particularly the body during the breathing time, you need to realize our body is, look like a piece of what we call bubble, piece of balloon. When the airs go in, you can see our body is just raising up. When the breath come out, exhale, we can see our body is becoming flat. This is also, nature of our body. Then when you study very precisely, meditate on very precisely about the nature of the body, then the 9 channel grown, also how our body is really, exist. How our body able to maintains. Then the 4 elements. When we say, my body is very healthy and strong, then means the 4 element is very balanced in your body. When you say, my body become very unhealthy, means one of the elements become very weak or become too strong. Therefore, we have all kinds of sickness and disease, 4 elements. Still, when we have an attachment towards someone, somebody, yes, we could understand, we fully aware the body is just made of the 4 elements. still the attachment is still there, or the lust is still there, desire is still there. Therefore, we need to meditate on the 9 charnel groans. That means just simple, you can imagine the body, you have a so strong attachment, the body just throw on the, like a charnel groan, like a cemetery, just put there, and just imagine how the bodies look like. Then imagine how it look like after 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 10 days, 1 year. Within 1 year, the whole body is totally, going to disappear. The flesh, the skin, the blood. The body still, the bone still, you can see the bone is totally, the color has changed. So when we do meditation on the, the 9 channel groan, that means look like which actually we cannot have any attachment thoughts, someone and somebody. Then the third one, meditation on the feeling. There's a pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, right? And the neutral feeling. Whenever we say, oh, I really like the food, I really like the place, I really like the clothes, like whatever. Actually, we are, describing our own feeling. So let's say 2%, one is having pizza, one is having laksa. The person who are having laksa, the person will say, I really like the laksa, because he has a very strong craving, the tasty of laksa. Other person said, I really like the pizza. The person not talking about the shape of the pizza, color of the pizza, he never considered what kind of substance in the pizza. So he or she is saying, I like because he very much like the craving, the feeling which is taste the pizza and food. Therefore, when you say I like, I don't like, means just you are describing your own feeling. Therefore, when we meditate on the feeling, pleasant, we realize all the attachment, craving, clinging, everything arises based on the pleasant feeling. Also, based on realizing the unpleasant feeling, and slowly we're going to realize the hatred, anger, the dislike in all the thoughts is actually arises based on the unpleasant feeling. So meditate on the body, meditate on the feeling is teaching us how to control the gross attachment, anger, and hatred. Right? Then when we meditate on the mind is going to realize through studying, meditation on the mind, we're going to realize sometimes my mind is influenced by attachment. Sometimes my mind is influenced by anger. Sometimes my mind is influenced by ego, pride, desire. When we realize, oh, this moment my mind is totally influenced by, with the attachment, you need to reflect, you need to experience the feeling, what kind of feeling you have. When you're able to feel the mind is influenced by anger, how do you feel? Do you feel happy? None of them. Even though in a simple animal, the animal is so angry, the animal never feel happy when the bird, dog, cats. Then that's when we know the suffering, the mental suffering is actually caused by anger, hatred, ego, jealousy. So therefore, what we should do, Therefore, there's the two types of mind. One is a very positive, one is a negative, three types. One is the neutral. So through your meditation, through your Dharma study, you need to learn how the general mind, separate, how I can separate the mind from attachment and anger or hatred. And also when you realize, when you try to understand what does the feelings look like when your mind is influenced by compassion, kindness, tolerance, forgiveness, that kindness. Yes, when your mind is totally influenced by compassion, your mind is become very calm. The mind becomes very calm, then your body also becomes very calm. When the body becomes very calm, then the four elements become very calm. There's a balance there. So through meditation on the mind, so we have to learn how my mind can be separate, from attachment, anger, ego, so and so. Because when the mind is influenced by attachment, or when the mind is contaminated by attachment, that moment we will realize, usually we realize, I am not happy. Am I right? Therefore, if you don't want suffering, we should not, much worry about suffering. We must, concern about the cause of suffering. Cause of suffering. Exactly when we are sick. Yes, we know we need to realize I am sick. So what should I do? We need to take the medicine which is able to, stop the cause of sickness. And as many Buddhists, even though, many years studying Dharma, the person has all kinds of medicines there. Medicine for attachment, medicine for anger, ego, jealousy, pride. All the medicine is there. But they always carry, the huge bag of the Dharma medicine. They never use or never, eat the Dharma medicine when they need it. This is our serious mistake. Therefore, we ourselves can realize, how come I have been studying Dharma for many years? I cannot feel I become more happy person. I become more peaceful person. I become more easy person. Also, as a parent, as a father and mother, as a brother and sister, other your relative can see, my auntie, uncle, father, mother have been studying Dharma for many years. They have been, visiting all the Dharma center, all the temple. How come? They cannot see any transformation. Means, look like, sometimes we just walk around the supermarket. We just look at, this is nice, this is bad, this is good, this is expensive, this is cheap, or this is very cheap. We just go on the supermarket, collect all the information. All the information is useless because we don't need all the things, right? Again, also visiting Dharma center, attending Dharma classes, look at you going around the shopping mall, somehow you bought, certain things. When you look at the products, wow, they look very nice. Also, price is quite cheap. You just bought it. After you bought it, what you do, you just put it in the, almirage, you put somewhere, even though you never open, you never use it. And why, why we bought the things? Because we're not going to use it. That means simple what I'm saying here. The Dharma knowledge you have, understanding of Dharma you have, you must use as the right medicine for reducing all the negative thoughts. Then today, So we're going to study about the meditation on the object, the mind's object, right? There's meditation on the body, feeling, and mind, and the mind objects. So we don't have a time to do meditation because we're not going to finish. Then the meditation on the mind objects has I think, 5 parts. Page number 301, right? Or 341, is that 341, correct? Page number 341. I think it's okay, then you just listen. Yes, share. Also, we have the soft copy, right?
Yeah.
In the WhatsApp.
Yes.
Mindfulness of the object of the minds. Contemplation of the mind object. How monks does a monk avoid contemplating the mind object as a mind object? It has 5 parts. Number 1, the 5 hindrances. Number 1. Number 2, the 5 aggregates. Number 3, the 6 internal and external sense bases. So number 3. Then number 4, the 7 factors of enlightenment. Then the number 5, the 4 noble truths. That within the mind object, there are 3 parts. Now, after meditating for the 3 meditation, now it's actually come the point how actually we can be free from suffering. That means the first 3 meditation is mainly we apply in order to control the gross negative thoughts. That everyone just calm down. The root is still there, right? Therefore, first is a 5 hindrance for achieving liberation. The hindrance for achieving liberation, or hindrance for overcoming the cause of sufferings. So what are the 5 hindrances? Number 1, the sensual desire. Just desire, general, and very particularly the sensual desire. Therefore, in our life, whole life, actually, we have been playing with the 5, the sensual desire, or the 5 object, right? Like a form. Then, let's say, fragrance or smell, the nice or bad or smell, like smell. Then like sound, then taste, then the physical, like a pleasant. Then the 5, rupa, form, like a sound, or sound like a better sound, then like a smell, then taste, then the our next one is here mentioned, bit different, but so the reccha. The 5th one, do you remember what are the 5 rupa? Form, then smell, taste, yeah. Last one, touch, right? Touch. Therefore, since we wake up early morning until we sleeping, actually we are just playing with the 5 rupas. Form, yes. When we see beautiful kinds of form like flower, environment, person, food, we feel happy. When we see, a kind of unpleasant or, like a kind of ugly form, then what we get angry, upset, disappointment. Then sound, like sound. When we hear the pleasant sound, we feel happy. When we hear the unpleasant sound, then we feel upset and angry. Then test again, the same thing, good or bad test. Therefore, we have been. Amen. Therefore, how, in order to control our negative thoughts, also we need to control the sensual desire. And then when we see the form, it depends on us. The form can be caused to arising attachment, anger, or the form can be just simple form. It cannot cause to arise any negative thoughts. Form, right? Therefore, sensual is admin. Why is she schooling? The sensual desire. Now, also we can say how really we have an emotional problem in our life. Right? How? That means the sensual desire, the 5 senses, we really stuck our life with the 5 kinds of form. And you are always want to listen one very particular sound or music or singing. You really, really want to listen, hear the sound, a particular one. When you cannot hear, when you cannot listen to a very particular sound or music, what do you feel? You're going to get crazy, right? You feel very unhappy. Now you can see you have a strong desire to listen, or want to hear the sound. Cannot hear, you feel upset. Then also smell, your fragrance was the same thing. When you cannot have the very particular fragrance, smell, also you feel is something missing in your daily life. Again, you have a problem. Number 1, the sensual desire. Number 2, the hindrance number 2 is the ill will or hatred. Then number 3, sloth and torpor. Then number 4, worry and flurry. And number 5 is the doubt. So what is the connection, all of them? Then the things you can achieve, which you have a very strong desire. The thing you cannot achieve, you cannot have, then what happened? You have a very strong anger and hatred and, like a very negative thoughts. Therefore, based on the desire, then hatred arises, anger arises, jealous arises, ego arises, ill will. Then the sloth and torpor is a bit different in the Tibetan language. I will check here. Yes, sleepiness and the it's kind of the foggy mind, right? Foggy mind is the sleepiness mind. Mupa, ni. So based on the desire, then the foggy mind or the sleepy mind will arise. The next one, worry and flurry is, I don't think is a very close one. Is one is the regret, flurry, kind of regret. One is the excitement, worry is kind of excitement. Therefore, things cannot achieve which you really want, then you have a regret. When the things achieve in your life, the things to really excite your mind when you do meditation. So when you, let's say you are doing meditation on compassion, you are generating compassion, then the foggy mind become hindrance for doing meditation. During the meditation, if your mind becomes very sleepy, kind of very lazy, then the sleepy mind also become hindrance. Then excitement means you are meditating on compassion. Suddenly you remember, certain things, certain job. The mind is totally excited. It jump from somewhere. Then regret. Regrets also, I think we have to be very careful. When we regret about, something done which is negative, is good. For example, yesterday, we lied to someone, and this morning you feel regret. Oh, yesterday I should lie to the person. You feel regret. Means you are really trying to correcting yourself. Regret about the negative action is good. But so many times we have regret about the positive actions. This happened, I think, common for everybody. For example, when you visit a temple, when you enter a temple, you feel very happy, you feel very peaceful. Then, at the same time, somebody explain about the temple. Oh, the temple is very nice, and so the temple need, more fun to build more things. Then your mind is very peaceful, happy, then you make a big contribution. Like after did the contribution, came back home, then you feel regret. Oh, I give too much. And also the serious regret we will have is very common again. When you hear, sudden Rinpoche or Lama, Sifu, he or she is very high practitioner. He or she is fully awakened person. You just hear, then you attend the teaching, you receive a lot of teachings. Then later you notice the person, or he or she is not qualified person. Then you have very strong regret. Also, many of you, have been receiving a lot of initiation, many initiation, many teachings. Then you cannot, complete your daily commitments. Then what? Again, you have a very strong regret. So, also therefore, the regret can be cause, can be hindrance for achieving liberation. Therefore, the regret, then the foggy mind, sleepy mind, the excited mind, and regret are the 5 hindrances and the doubt. Usually, yes, it would be better to have a doubt. before we buy something, we check the product is good or bad. If you don't have a doubt, you just buy the things directly, then later you notice the product is no good. Also, receiving initiation, receiving teaching, also you must have a doubt about the master, the Lama or Rinpoche, whoever. Oh, is he really good or not? Is he or she is qualified or not? You must have a doubt. When you have a doubt, then what do? You analyze. You try to, get some information about the teacher, the master. Without having doubt, you just go and attend the teaching, receive teaching. The teaching cannot be, that useful for our life. Doubt. Then we need doubt. But if you are very, like a doubty person, always have a doubt, then we cannot do anything. Right? Even the order food, the food come on your travel, you still hold, is good or not good. If there's a lot of like a kind of spicy or not, you have a doubt, you cannot eat. Therefore, we need to know when we must have a doubt. We must know when we should not have a doubt. That means after you analyze, study for quite some time, then if you don't fully understand that without doubt, you just start your things, your job, your practice. Then one doubt is according to Buddha teaching. You always have a doubt, like triple gem. A triple gem is good or not. Yes, first you have a doubt. Slowly the doubt you must transform into a bit positive. Even though you're full, you don't understand everything completely. Still, the doubt you slowly change into a bit positive. Then slowly, like completely the positive. Therefore, having doubt on the positive things is not good. Having doubt about negative things is good. Therefore, these 5 are the hindrances for achieving liberation. That's mean you can see we need to do meditation. We need to do mindfulness. So you can see when our mind is a doubt, you cannot continue your practice, become hindrance. When your mind become sleepy, you cannot continue the pure practice. When your mind is totally excited from the chosen object, you cannot continue your practice. Therefore, first is mentioned the 5 hindrances for meditation, for achieving liberation. The next is what are next 5 aggregates. Yeah, page number 303, the 5 aggregates. Form, feeling, perception, the mental formation, and consciousness. Those are the 5 aggregates. So why we need to know the 5 aggregates when we try to do meditation on the 4 mindfulness? Why we need? Therefore, here say the one object, respect of the 5 aggregates of the grasping. How does he do so? Here among things such as a form, such as this arising from form, such as the disappearances of the form. So this one, if we understand the 5 aggregates, that means then we actually going to realize the actual person, actual being, right? Therefore, person or being are we establish based on the 5 aggregates. form. How we can say, based on the 5 aggregates, we establish the person. Because when we see the person face, what we say, oh, I saw him or her. Therefore, the body is also, part of the person. Mean the body is, involved to establish the person. When we say, oh, but the person has a, very sad, sadness feeling, then when we say, oh, you are not so happy, that you are not so happy, or he or she is very happy. Therefore, when we see the person feeling the positive or negative feeling, then we can judge, say, oh, the person is happy, the person is not happy. Therefore, also feeling is, part of the person, or the feeling is the one factor to establish the person. Therefore, the 5 aggregates is important to know in order to actually realize the person. Particularly in Buddhism, it always talk about selflessness. Selflessness of person or selflessness of the phenomena. That means there's not such as one single thing we can say this is the person. Just we can recognize ourselves. In our body, when you look at any part of body, we cannot say this is me. Right? Also, when we analyze about all our minds, we cannot say, oh, this is me. The me is the just established, based on the 5 aggregates. When we really understand me or he or she, it's just mainly established the 5 aggregates, based on the 5 aggregates, mean then you are very close to understand, emptiness of the person or selflessness of the person. Therefore, you can see gradually you're entering into the actual path to achieving liberation. Therefore, 5 aggregates. Next one is 5 aggregates. Five aggregates. Then the 6 internal and external sense basis. Among the 6, we just study 1, the rest of the things are very same. How does he do so? Here a monk knows the eye, knows the sight object. Eyes, then the sight object means the object which is perceived by the eyes, right? Eyes and the sight mean the object. Due to these 2 conditions, then we have the eyes consciousness. Right? There's the eye, then there's a sight or object. Due to this cause, then the eyes consciousness can arise. If there's no any form, there's the eyes. The eyes consciousness cannot receive anything. Therefore, in order to activate the eyes consciousness, we need eye, then the sight. Due to these 2, the eyes consciousness arises. When the eyes consciousness arises, then we have a concept, right? For example, you're looking at this cup. If I ask how the cup is look like, somebody will say, oh, the cup color is so nice. The cup is so nice. Somebody say, oh, it's not so nice. Somebody say it's okay. Because all of you can perceive the cup due to the eye and the cup right here. Then we have a concept. This is good. This is bad. This is nice. Therefore, all our concept must depend on the 2 things. the object, then the organ. For example, air, then the sound, two together, the air consciousness is active. Then we have a concept, right? Concept. Without any of the five, like a sense or five aggregates, we cannot have any concept. Therefore, the six internal and the external sense bases, eyes and the sight, then the air and the he knows the air knows the sound, the air and the sound, the smell and the nose and the smell, and the tongue and the taste. There's a six sense bases. The first is the five. What were the five? Five hindrances, then the five aggregates, then the six sense bases is taught us how the negative thoughts arise. How we have, sometimes we have a lot of negative thought, sometimes we have a lot of positive thought. How the mind is really functioning. The mind is not functioning itself. The mind is functioning, activity depends on the certain condition. Then the seventh factor is this is like a positive side. Before the five hindrances, these are the kind of negative side, or is the cause to arise all the negative thoughts. Now, how we really able to overcome all the negative thoughts? What are the actual, the first condition to practice the pure Dharma? Then the seventh factor of enlightenment. Now you can say five hindrances, then the seven kind of positive cause for achieving enlightenment. Therefore, seven factors of the enlightenment. What are the seven factors of the enlightenment? Number one, the factor of mindfulness. Number two, the factor of investigation of the state, or the factor of the wisdom. Number three, the factor of energy or joy effort. Then the fourth one, the factor of diligence. Then the fifth one, the factor of tranquility. Then the sixth one, the factor of equanimity. The seventh one, the factor of equanimity. The factor of equanimity present. Seven, right? Mindfulness, investigation, energy, diligence, tranquility, then equanimity. Is it seven?
Tranquility is concentration.
Or tranquility?
Followed by concentration, and then last one is equanimity.
Or tranquility, yes, tranquility. This means totally seven. There's a seven factor. This means this is kind of the basic condition we need to apply. First, mindfulness, right? Then investigation or wisdom. Let's say you are doing mindfulness on compassion, then suddenly your mind is excited by attachment, right? Attachment. Then you need to do investigation. You need to analyze why my mind is excited. After you analyze, for example, your mind is excited by attachment for food. After you analyze, then you notice, you realize, oh, there's no point my mind is to be excited by the food. After analyze, then you can bring your mind back to the mindfulness. Also, through investigation wisdom, you're going to be more clear about any kinds of phenomena. Then energy is kind of effort. Energy is not the close word, I think. Let me check. Effort, right? Effort. Yeah, it's effort. Therefore, when we do kind of practice, our mind have to be very mindful. The mindfulness must be established based on the wisdom. Wisdom can clear more, become wisdom. Through the wisdom, we are very clear about the actual phenomena. Then we continuously need to practice the Dharma, therefore joy, effort, not just effort, the joy, effort, right? If you willingly practicing Dharma, then you have a sense of joyness. If your teacher forces you to do meditation, yes, you are doing meditation, but joyness is not there. You feel very forceful, right? Joyfulness. That diligence is the correct. The tranquility become very, focusful. Then equanimity means if our mind is, fall into, like a happy state, then it's danger to arise desire. If our mind fall into, like a little bit the negative side, then there's a dangers to arise anger and hatred. Therefore, our mind will always keep in the middle, neither a lot of positive side nor the negative side when you do meditation. Because you need to learn how to just focusfully watch the chosen object. For example, when you meditate on this, impermanent, when you do analyze, through analyzing, you realize, oh, the thing is impermanent. That's when your mind is just grab, focus the impermanent. In between, positive thoughts arise, you need to ignore. You should not feel very happy. In between, negative thoughts arise, you need to ignore. Continuously put effort to able to focus on the impermanence. Right? Therefore, there's 7 factors. So today, mainly you need to remember the 5 hindrances, then the 5 factors. After 5 factors, then I think the 4 novel truths. 4 novel truths. At the beginning, there's a few quotes, which is the kind of, the brief explanation about the 4 novel truths. Object in respect of the 4 novel truths. How does he do so? Here a monk knows as that it really is. This is suffering. He knows as it really. This is the origin of suffering. He knows as it really is. This is the cessation of suffering. He knows as it really is. This is a way of practicing leading to the cessation of suffering. This is the, the short statement about the Four Noble Truths. So after having the, the 7 factors, then you are actually entering into the meditation on the Four Noble Truths. You are actually entering into the path. The first, the suffering, right? This is suffering. He knows as it really is. This really is. For us, when we study about the life, yes, we kind of understand this suffering, but not really. Right? Because if we fully understand the suffering, we are not going to chase after the suffering. Right? Suffering. Therefore, we are in a little bit halfway. We kind of understand the suffering, not really. Then the origin of sufferings. Yes, we always say, the 3 poison minds are not good. This is the origin of suffering. Also, we say, the karma, that doesn't matter, positive, negative, still a cause of the origin of suffering. Yes, we understand, but we are not really understood the origin of suffering. Then the cessation of suffering. Then the leading to the cessation of suffering. This is nicely explained, by the Maitreya Buddha. He said, the suffering is look like sickness. Right? So the suffering like sickness. Then the origin of suffering is look like abandoning, eliminating the suffering, the cause of the sickness. Then the cessation is look like free from the sickness. Then the path is look like, like applying, taking the medicine. Right? The truth of suffering is look like sickness. The origin of suffering is look like the cause of the sickness. The cessation is free from the sickness. Then the path is look like even taking the medicine. Therefore, when we say, I'm practicing Dharma, mean every moment you are taking a medicine, free from the origin of suffering and suffering. Also, when you say, I am practicing Dharma, every day I practice Dharma, mean you're every day, try to move on the paths to enlightenment. You are still, always try to walk slowly towards the liberation. Therefore, we really need to know what does mean practicing Dharma. Recitation is a really Dharma practicing. Chanting is really practicing Dharma. Doing prostration is the actual Dharma or not. Surely, any of the qualified masters said, yes, we need to do all this. Those are the not actual path, actual Dharma practice. For example, somebody has a serious kind of illness. The person also need to do exercise. The exercise is not the actual, kind of methods to overcome from the sickness, but we need to take the medicine. Therefore, the meditation, the mindfulness is the actual path. In order to, do the proper Dharma practice, proper meditation, then we need to do the prostration, chanting, recitation, all this we need. But most of Buddhist people, whole life, spend with recitation, chanting, making offering, doing prostration. Therefore, we are not able to free from the samsara. Accumulating merit means we are putting more cost to born again in samsara. But accumulating merit means we are putting, like positive cause to born into the positive, like state of life, still within samsara. For example, like Singapore compared with the other kind of, the poor country is competitively, Singapore has a more developed, more safe, more clean. Other is, not that developed, but still both of these still on the planets. Therefore, we are human being, the other being we call animals. Both of them is, when you compare, some life is better, our life is better than the animal life, but still we are in samsara. Then how come, since we become Buddhists, we have been accumulating a lot of merit, we have been reciting a lot of mantra, chanting, still I'm in samsara. I cannot really feel my anger become lesser. My attachment is fully controlled. I cannot see why. Because we very much focus, we spend a lot of time with all the recitation, chanting, not much about meditation and practice. Therefore, 7 factors are very important. Then we can able to practice the 4 noble truths. Among the 4 noble truths, so we just study a little bit about the truth of suffering. What, monks, is the noble truth of suffering? Isn't it? Birth is suffering, aging is suffering, death is suffering, sorrow, elimination, pain, sadness, distress are suffering. Then being attached to unlove is suffering. Being separated from the love is suffering. Not getting what one wants is suffering. In short, the 5 aggregates of grasping are suffering. So it's more detailed explanation about the truth of suffering. Yes, birth is suffering. Aging is the most serious suffering. When we see, we are getting older. When you look at the mirror, you feel someday you feel upset, right? Oh, how can I look so old? Like aging. Just becoming old is okay. Just imagine, you are like 80 years old. You really want to run, you cannot. You feel then whatever, you feel very upset. You really want to go around with, other people, you cannot. Then you feel very, upset. Also, you really want to eat a lot of food. As a 80-plus-year-old cannot eat much, maybe drink some soup and light food. Then also you can see, people can have a lot of depression. Therefore, just getting older is okay, but on this state, we can have so many problems. Aging is suffering, death is suffering. Aging. Therefore, aging, death, we cannot stop until we stop the origin of death and aging. What actually the cause to be, to getting older? Death. What does it mean, death? Death means our body is totally expired. Cannot, cannot give more support to the consciousness. Therefore, the body is collapsed. Death. It doesn't mean, according to Buddha teaching, it doesn't mean death is end of the life. Life continues. That means you are changing, you are transforming the body to another type of body. That means the life will continue for millions of years. When we think I need to in samsara for the millions of years with this kind of problem, right, then we feel it's too much, right? Even though let's say within one lifetime, this life, don't need to think about many years. Since we were born until today, we feel it's too much. If still we need to remain in samsara billions of years, and then we need to think it's too much. I need to stop, the cause of suffering or the origin of suffering. Then death is suffering. When we say death is suffering, who is actually experiencing the death of suffering? Who can experience the death of suffering? Right? When we are in the process of the death, we haven't experienced the suffering of the death. When the person totally stopped the breath, the person already left. Therefore, actually nobody can really experience the death of suffering. But everybody can experience the process of the death. Then we thought, I don't think there's a lot of suffering, when we are on the way to ending of this life. I don't think there's a lot of suffering, when I'm going to die. We think it's quite easy. It can be easy, it can be very difficult. It's up to us, up to you. Right? Let's say your mind is totally strong, attached with your belongings. That means it looks like you're just sitting in your home, you're living in your house. So many people come in your home, they're taking all your belongings. How do you feel? People are upset. But no choice. You are in the bed, you cannot move, you cannot shout. People is taking away all your belongings. If you have no attachment, you're okay, let them take. But therefore, moment of the death, when we on the process of the death, it looks like that. Your mind is so strongly attached with your belongings. You cannot bring anything with you. Even though your body, since we were born, the body is with us. Even the body cannot. If you think about the sorrow, the mental sorrow, or your mind is so strongly attached to your someone, your dear and near one, you really want to talk to the person, you really want to spend time with the person, you cannot, you no choice. We are going to separate. Therefore, think about, the suffering of the death. The death is suffering. Means we can have all the suffering, during the process of the death. Then the most serious suffering we have, what happened after I died? What happened? There's no next life, it's okay, right? We are really okay, it's finished. As a Buddhist, we believe in next life. Next life. After, we died, and then there's a two kind of road, two paths. One path is go in the, kind of in a happy, journey. One is a suffering journey, right? So, end of the death, if we need to calculate, if we are able to calculate, make a calculation, in my life, forget about previous life. In this lifetime, how much good thing I have done? How much bad thing I have done? When you make a calculation, without knowing, we have been doing so many bad things. But look at, even though when you going around, you can see, someone doing some strange thing, then you get angry. You have so many thoughts. How come he or she doing this? Also, we are accumulating negative karma, right? Therefore, without knowing, in our life we have been doing so many bad things. Therefore, after we died, we need to go, the suffering journey. We cannot follow the happy, journey. Then we feel very, like scary. Therefore, the death is suffering. The sorrow, elimination, pain, sadness, distress, suffering. Being attached to unlove is suffering. It really is, I can see, particularly since I came to Singapore, I have seen so many, people being attached to the unlove is suffering, right? You really don't like someone, still you need to, leave the person. You really don't like the place, still you have to live there. This is also very like for example, headache, this problem comes and goes. If you have to stay the place you really don't like, how do you feel? You really need to stay with the person whom you really don't like. This is a suffering, right? Then also being separated from the law is suffering. Yes, also not getting what one wants is suffering. In short, the five aggregates of the grasping are suffering. That means all the suffering we have because we have a grasping on the five aggregates. Therefore, you can see, the five aggregates is linked with the practicing the Four Noble Truths. Okay, so today I think after I came back from India, I think we can have one or two more classes about the last part is the Four Noble Truths. So I will check with Poland. Maybe we have two classes about the Four Noble Truths. Then I can start the Yamataka and enter in middle way. Okay, so we have another like 15 minutes. So we can do short meditation. Also, meditation doesn't mean, just close your eyes. You just sit quietly. No, let's say now we will do meditation on the feeling. Then meditation on mindfulness on the mind. As usual, everybody sit comfortably. Doesn't matter which position you want to sit comfortably. Establish your mindfulness on the upper parts of your mouth, upper parts of around your lower face. And breathe in and out. Breathe long breaths in and out. Aware you are breathing the long breath in and out. And the breathing in, the breath, breathe in and out is breathed by your body. Feel the feeling when you breathe in and out. When you breathe in, our lungs become bigger. At the same time, the heart is pumping blood all parts of the body. The kidney, liver is really segregating the blood and the water. Particularly the liver cleaning the blood. In a short time, there's so many, the parts of body is functioning. It is everybody feel the pleasant sensation. Need to aware the pleasant feeling caused to arise attachment, clinging. Aware the unpleasant feeling through your breath in and out. Unpleasant feeling can be caused to arise in hatred and anger. When the anger arises, your mind is influenced by the anger, contaminated by anger. You need to aware the mind is contaminated by anger, unpleasant feeling, destroyed all the peace of mind. Where your mind is contaminated by attachment. Due to attachment, the mind is contaminated by attachment, your craving becomes so strong. The attachment, the craving arise based on the two conditions, the object and the mind, which is perceived the object. The anger also arises with the two conditions. the mind and the object of the mind. We need to aware during the meditation, our mind is not, caused by the 5 hindrances, not distracted by the 5 hindrances. In order to free from the 5 hindrances, we need to apply the 7 the factors of the enlightenment. First is mindfulness. Second is the wisdom or investigation. Okay, so today we stop our class here at the end. So when we do meditation, make sure your mind have to be very alert. And your mind have to be very clear on the chosen object. Then you are able to see very clearly the chosen object of meditation. This means your mind have to be very fresh. The freshness must be there. Yes, you are able to focus on the chosen object. You are able to mindful on the chosen object. The object is not so, clearly seen. This means your meditation still, need to improve. Yes, you can see the chosen object very clearly, able to see, but cannot, focus, cannot mindful. Mean your mind is already distracted by the excitement. It just, slowly distracting your mind from the chosen object. Therefore, during meditation, you need to focus on the 2 factors. One is make sure your mind is not distracted by any kind of obstacles. Make sure your mind is not really polluted by the kind of sleepy, foggy minds. You have to be very alert, right? So therefore, in the future, you can learn more precisely about excitement and so and so. So after I come back, I think we have maybe 1 or 2 more classes about the mindfulness. Then we will start the 2 classes. One is the Yamantaka explanation or commentary on Yamantaka. The second is the intermediate way. So many people wanted to attend the Yamantaka class, but make sure the first condition, you must receive the initiation from the qualified guru, teacher, or master. Second, when you attend the class, you really have a strong kind of intention to practice the Yamantaka sadhana or in your daily basis or maybe once a week. Right? Most of you do the Yamantaka sadhana, which is good. If you are not doing the Yamantaka sadhana every day. You must do once a week, once a month. Then intermediate way, most of you know, is mainly studying about emptiness. Without having knowledge of emptiness, then the Yamantaka sadhana, or any sadhana become worthless. Therefore, in order to practice the Yamantaka sadhana, was Samaja sadhana, whatever, we need to have a right understanding of emptiness. Therefore, the next we have two classes. One is the Yamantaka, one is the intermediate way, from the heart way, right? Yes. Yeah.
The entering the middle way, you will start on the 18th of March. 18th of this March.
Okay.
That's a Saturday from 3 p.m.
Let's see. We check that. I already received the email. I will see how we can fit this class in. Okay. Then, so today is Sunday. I hope all of you are going to enjoy the Sunday. At the end, we do dedication. So dedication is very important. After Dharma class, after your daily practice, every day you must do dedication. When we do dedications, we must remember all sentient beings, particularly those people who is very much suffering in this moment. There's so many people has so many serious problems and suffering in Russia, in Ukraine, particularly Ukraine. Also, there are so many family and people suffering in the Middle East due to the earthquake. Also, during the dedication, we must include all people, particularly who grow food us, who grow rice, who grow vegetable, who cook for us, who clean the water, who clean the road, who clean the MRT, who clean the buses, also who build the house, who provide all the our daily necessary things. Therefore, first, all are married. Today we dedicate for about to practice the pure dharma for achieving Buddhahood, to benefit all sentient beings. Second, dedicate all the merit to benefit those people who are in serious sufferings. Lastly, we dedicate our merit for benefit for your relatives, friends, family who are survived or already passed away. Okay, so thank you so much for attending the class. Have a happy Sunday. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.